Welcome to Polar, a show of opposite minds and different creative people coming together and having a conversation. So my name is Kaye, artist, entrepreneur, bare different things. But with me today, I have what's shit you running by again? It changes so much.
I know, literally. Omarion for now.
Alright, Omarion for now.
Sabru.
What's up? How you been, fam? How you been? How's life?
Chilling, fam. Chilling. It's hot as hell, bruh. And I wore an all black outfit.
I know you moving like one ninja today. This is what we love to see. Well, do you want to just describe a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Well, the two main things I do is just creative direction and clothing design. Those are my main points of creativity, but a little bit of everything everywhere else as well.
So, and like, as well as your brand LACUNA, what else have you got going on right now?
Currently right now, I'm planning a music video, as you already know, for one of our boys, a big one with a bigger team, and working on next event as well.
Next event. Hopefully. Hey, we need to talk about that, bro. Yeah, we need to talk about that one. So, I mean, would you like to start off where the brand has come from, like what makes LACUNA and how you actually began with it? Because you already explained it before, but that's in the lost files now because of what happened before. So
I know, in the archives.
Yeah.
So LACUNA is my current brand. It's how I would describe as like a winter wear and a streetwear brand at the same time. This wasn't like the first version of the brand. It wasn't called LACUNA to begin with, and it wasn't like the same aesthetic. The original brand was something called Lower, which I was working on around like 2 years ago, coming up to 3 years ago now. And that was heavy streetwear and heavy graphics, you know, a lot of what was trending at the time. Because it was just a brand that I was building off of like popular ideas that had already existed. It wasn't necessarily original to me, but maybe about like 2 years ago, or coming up to 2 years ago, then I changed it into LACUNA, which was a bit more personal, a bit more tailored to things I actually liked and what I wanted to actually see, because I heavily believe in like making things that you want to be real yourself. And I launched LACUNA in December last year. So in a couple months, it'll be like 1 year anniversary for that.
I had a couple months of recording, but it's still going to be a couple months.
Yeah.
So tell me like what LACUNA means to you.
Well, I created LACUNA on the idea for people that feel like they're, you know, left out or missing, or they don't necessarily like have a place to be or a place to belong to. I feel like a lot of creative people don't necessarily feel like they have a space to be fully authentic, or also be with people that are very like-minded, because in creativity, it's a very individualistic thing. So I feel like it's hard to find people that actually relate to you on a level that sometimes you need or want. So in creating LACUNA, it was a way to draw people from all sorts of different spaces towards each other and bring people in the same space. Hence, the name itself means a missing part in Latin. And with a lot of the things that we do, I always try and bring as many different people from all different parts of creativity over, like different kinds of photographers, graphic designers, models, etc. People that wouldn't necessarily align themselves with a clothing brand straight away. I find a way for them to get involved somehow, a way for them to express themselves.
Yeah, that's good to know. So it's kind of a little bit like creating a community for those without a community, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's the intention behind it. Hence why I have such a heavy like interest towards doing the events, because they create a space for more people to come together and actually see each other.
One thing that we was talking about before as well was how I think just the creative process when it comes to doing things is quite different, but at the same time it's very similar. Like for me, when I'm making a song, I kind of start from feelings. So like instead of just having a set specific key that I want to work in or whatever, like I'll be just sitting randomly and then I've got this feeling and then I try and stick that emotion into what I'm making. So when it comes to like when I'm making beats, it's usually just whatever key or whatever note just sticks out to me. Like I play a different bunch of notes. A lot of people do this, but I feel like for me, I have like a emotional like connection to it in terms of what's speaking to me at that time. And when I'm creating specifically, like it's pretty much just all feeling. Like I don't have a type of specific audience that I'm going for, but I do have a vibe that I want to give off and I want to show and I want to portray. So it's kind of like when I'm just like, it's just feelings I pour into music. And then when it comes to the writing process as well, like I'm thinking, okay, how do I want to make this? Do I want to make people feel happy to this? Do I want to make people dance to this? Like what do I want people to feel when they feel this? Or how do I want people to how do I want to show people how I feel throughout the process? Because even like just small things that you have like little counter melodies, or like one thing that I like doing a lot is, if you listen to my music, is I like really just having small like guitar hits or small things just have like high pitched hits in the background to just further emphasize what I'm trying to say. So like if I've got like a bar that's going along and then I want to have impact within said bar, then I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do and this is how I'm gonna like portray my emotions. So what I'm trying to say is, how do you as a creative and a designer, how do you tell your story within the work? Like how do you let people know what you're trying to say within clothing? Because clothing is just like, oh yeah, like it's very aesthetic based. Like you can say to somebody, okay, well, I want to make this piece, like I want to make this piece and I don't want to make this look like this. Like for instance, your trousers, you can be like, oh, like, yeah, I want to make a nice pair of cool black trousers. But how do you then put your own twist on it and your own like emotional backstory, or just the story that you're trying to tell of your brand into that? Like, yeah, how do you do that?
I feel like with me personally, my approach towards it is heavily on things that or aspects of fashion that I like myself, and things that I wish more like items or pieces or like garments had. I care a lot about practicality and like versatility. Like I'd say I like items more that are multifunctional. They have like different parts, or they have like hidden features and things like that. I care a lot about that aspect of fashion. So I see in which ways I can employ that into the things that I do make. And as you already know, I'm a big fan of like references. I love like referencing everything and in everything. Because I like to share art in any way that I can. And I feel like referencing is a good way to share things that you're passionate about, things that you love yourself without direct like imitation or just showing what it actually is. So I also do a lot of references in the pieces that I do create as well, and the pieces that I do design. References to all sorts of like different interests that I have. It doesn't always necessarily have to be fashion-based interests, because I feel like that's when your clothes are just clothes. But when the references are like references to music, I like to reference some of like my favorite tracks in terms of how they make me feel, or the theme of the song itself, and then reference that into a piece.
So could you provide an example of that? Like, what's the most obscure thing you've referenced in a piece of your work?
I think I've got this like blue long sleeve tee that's like unreleased. But the main inspiration for the text on it's just got LACUNA on the front, but it's in like a certain style. The main inspiration for that was like this whole opium wave that happened that like, hit at once. Although it became very corny, the opium thing itself, I'm a fan of like a lot of the artists that belong to that category. So in referencing them, I use like a typical style of text that aesthetic uses, and just mixed it with bright colors that I'm a fan of, because I do like things that pop.
Yeah.
Or I like things that are very
So this is all back on today.
they're very like, yeah, literally to do with my outfit. I like when things are like all one color. I like flat colors. I really am a big fan of flat colors. So I just try to mix the two together. But with other pieces as well, it's not always necessarily like the same kind of references. Like it could be a film that I really liked, and I saw something in the film. I was like, "Ooh, that'd be cool on something," or I could make a cooler version of something that's in a film that I really like, or in an anime or in a cartoon or something like that. Like a lot of, I've designed a jacket. I've designed 2 jackets. One of them is based off one of my favorite characters in an anime, and then another one is a jacket based off of some cartoon film that I watched. I was like, that's just a dope jacket. I'd love to like make it an actual thing. Yeah. So a lot of for me personally, a lot of references. And a lot of cross-referencing. I like to mix things in and see what happens.
Yeah, I feel that, because as well, like me, whenever I'm listening to things that I've made, because like as an artist, I feel like one thing that you do have to do as well is really just reference yourself and listen to what you've done 24/7. So like to make sure that it's perfect, because there's things that I've missed from that I've listened to 4 months, but on that 5th month I'm like, oh, I missed this, and it's been there the whole time. But one thing that I like to reference, and I realized as well, is that when I'm actually creating, I'll hear a song and I'm like, oh, this is where I got that idea from. Like I'll be like, oh, like you know everyone wants to be with this whole original da 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 da.
Yeah, but no idea is original.
Yeah, exactly. So, and as well, like it's about how you mix and blend the ideas. So one thing, like I was listening to years and years ago, but I'm like, oh, I just put that in a song that I've got coming out, or like I've got this specific type of vibe that I've got going on that may have influenced me years ago that I didn't even know about, but then it comes back and it becomes a part of my creative process. Because when I listen to music, I listen to it very like, I don't want to say, oh, I'm special, I listen to things but I really listen to it like in depth. And that's how like I really kind of got started into wanting to pursue music, because I was listening like to it really deeply and being like, okay, this song might have this basic like hi-hat pattern or this basic snare roll or whatever the fuck it is, but like when I was looking at it, I'm just like, why does this make me feel this way? Like why do I like this song so much? Why do I like this piece of art so much? And then I had to actually go deep into it and then be like, oh, okay, it's the way that this is all done and the way that this is all incorporated to each other, which makes me feel like this is why I like this. Like there's a Diggity song called Main Road, innit? And I was like, why do I keep banging this song out? Like, you know what I'm saying? And because I listen to a lot of drill, but at the same time, like, what is it about this specific song that makes me feel this way? And then I was like, oh, I like this because of the way that the snares are in it, because it's typically set like how a hi-hat pattern would be. So I was like, oh, this is sick. And then I used it in a song that was on my EP. I didn't use the exact pattern, but the way that it was done in terms of the technique, like I was like, okay, use this here, use this here.
Yeah, you did your own version of it.
Yeah, exactly. So don't worry, I did not rip off Diggity, but I was influenced.
I feel like it is essential to actually look into the things that you're interested about as well. I feel like that's almost like the foundation of pursuing anything creatively, and like especially passion, because it's very easy to just be content with just liking something for the sake of liking something. Or you find out why you like it and you stop there. But I feel like it's quite essential for anyone that does anything creative or that wants to pursue a creative career or lifestyle to actually study and truly understand why you like certain things and kind of pick a lot apart. Like, I'll listen to a tune and I'll pick it apart and really try to understand what it is about that specific song that I like to listen to so much, or the specific thing that's making me like repeat it so much. I pick apart music, and I pick apart like art and music videos and films. Definitely a lot with films, just because I'm a big fan of film in general. A lot of my influence into my art comes from films. I always pick apart different things, or I'll see a scene and I'll really dissect the feeling that it gives me and take apart all the different parts that make it the one thing. Like,
Yeah.
take out all the different things that add to that feeling or that build up all together to create that feeling, and then try and change that into a way that's digestible through clothes.
Yeah, I feel like as well, it's very interesting. Like, because when we was in school, we was in the same school with each other, innit? And we did art and design together. One thing that our art teacher said to us as well was that we need to kind of like really and truly start from one spot and then just keep like building on it.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So it's like, it was great advice, because I was like, I just want to draw some shit, like, fuck that. But you realize you need to actually, once you've got that whole story built behind something, you can actually conceptually be like, yo, okay, this is where I need to go with this. Because there's any artist that says, yo, everything that I've done has come out naturally, and there's not been hard parts or parts where I haven't felt uncreative, they're lying to you.
Yeah,
and they're telling you somebody else did it for them. So
yeah, no,
like, from the creative aspect as well, like, it's about building the foundations from the beginning, and then it might be something completely different to what you started with.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's still really this kind of, it's still got the roots of it stuck within it.
Yeah, you know, because sometimes like an idea isn't necessarily meant to come out in full fruition itself. Sometimes the idea is meant to be used as a platform for the final idea. Like, it's not always necessarily meant to be the thing that you should make or make it exactly like that.
Yeah, because as well, like, I think when I was preparing my EP that came out a couple months ago, I was like, you know what, yeah, like, why do I want to do this? It came a lot from me being to myself like, like, you know, I've gone through a lot of changes recently as a person. I'm trying to grow up and be more of an adult with certain things. And as well, I felt myself trapped in certain behaviors that at the time they were fun, but I realized I had some hindsight. I was like, yo, like, I was a bit mad still.
Short-term fun.
Yeah, short-term fun. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, innit? So it's like, I was like, you know what, yeah, let me actually build this concept around it. So like, my EP called New Leaf that dropped, like, God, it's like 5 months ago now.
Yeah, it was
time ago. Yeah, it was time ago. So yeah, it was a concept of me being the new version of myself, and like, the looking in the mirror on the cover was coming from me, like, being introspective and trying to feel like, you know, what's wrong with certain behaviors I'm doing, and how can I improve myself, and how can I be a better person, and how can I change not feeling the way that I feel now. Because it's not like I was like, I was really sad or anything, because I wasn't, but it was just like, I was in a rut. I wasn't really producing the best stuff I could. I wasn't really being the best person I could. And it came a lot from me being stuck. Before I was doing said behaviors, I was stuck in a place where I just felt like I needed to break free from it, and I needed to stop relying on one thing to give me the hope that I wanted from actually doing other things like music. Like, I tell people when I first meet them, I'm like, look, yeah, my first priority is music. I can't prioritize you over that. Like, this is my first love, and this is what I actually love doing.
Yeah, no, 100%. You have to treat it with a more, or if not the same, then more importance as you would the next person. Like,
no, 100%.
That's such a difficult, I don't know, relationship to form. I feel like it's very easy to kind of neglect that side of yourself or not give it as much attention because it's not a person. Like, it's not, I'd say, it's not that it's not doing anything for you, but it's not instantly gratifying. Like, with a person, you can say something and get a response immediately. But it's not necessarily the case. So it's kind of difficult to form that relationship when it's not like a relationship with a person. So I do understand that a lot. Yeah.
Cause I'm sure, like, when you know, first initially was just jumping onto the idea, even the idea of the brand, I'm sure, like, when a lot of people couldn't see what was going on, they was like, oh, like, why are you not giving me the time and attention I need?
You know, bro, friendships change, relationships change, your circumstances, the things that you like, the kind of person, it's not that the person you are changes, but it's like you become a different version of yourself, a more authentic version of yourself. And once you start to change, and everything else around you kind of follows suit.
No, 100%.
And a lot of people around you that, not that they're not doing anything, but they're not doing the same thing, feel differently about it, or they feel left out sometimes, or they can't necessarily cope with that, because, I mean, how can you blame them that they're not on the same thing that you're on? So yeah, no, it changes a lot. Making a decision in terms of what you want to do, it sounds funny, but it does actually change a lot in your life.
Exactly. And I feel like it's not, as you said, it's not understood unless you're going through the same thing. Like, because like before my event, I'm not gonna go too in detail into it, but I stopped contact with like 2 people like the day or 2 days before my event, because it was like I was put in a position where I prioritize this, or I prioritize respectfully the fuck shit that you're trying to put me through, and I wasn't trying to do that, because I've put this amount of money, time, effort,
And a mission.
exactly, emotion. Like it's like my baby. Like I've put this amount of time, effort, and emotion into like this event for something that you know I deeply love and care about, and you're telling me, raw, like, oh, you need to give me all your time and attention over something as stupid and silly as the things that I cut them off for. And I'm like, bro, in the hindsight, yeah, it wasn't really that deep, and I could have been like, you know, I'll talk to you this time. But no, if I've told you and had these levels of conversation with you about how much I prioritize the shit I want to do, is that nigga talking to me? Yeah. And I tell you how much like I want to do certain things, and I want to do this, and how much I really believe in myself, and then you make it about you, I'm like, the flag.
Yeah, of course. The overstepping. There's a lot of overstepping that happens, and I feel like it's annoying for us, the people that need to set the boundaries to go through, but you also can't put too much blame on those other people for not understanding that there's a boundary to step over. Because if you're not doing the same thing, I can't, there's only so much I can explain to you until you get to a point where you're just not going to understand it.
Yeah, exactly.
So sometimes you do have to do very dramatic things, or sometimes you just let time carry on. But it's a very clear boundary you have to stand on. You have to stand on business. Like if you're really passionate about something and you're trying to do something, especially something creative, you have to stand on business in all aspects of it. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And it really, you'll get these moments where like it's kind of like you have to like rev up the engine. Like you'll get moments where you'll be doing your thing, and then you'll get relaxed and content, but you need a moment that'll like kick you back into gear. Like you'll need a moment where you need to keep standing on business. Like it will keep happening again and again.
Yeah.
So, and people around you sometimes just aren't prepared or aren't meant to go through that with you.
Yeah.
So shit happens.
And I feel like as well, it's a very it's a surreal experience, and it kind of forces you to cut things out that are unnecessary, like cutting the fat.
Yeah, definitely trimming the fat.
Because as well, like if somebody, there's a difference between somebody actively supporting you and just saying they're supporting you. Because like I've been around people that actively supported me, and then like if it's something basic, they're like, oh, no problem, then no problem. But then if it's when it comes to the other person, and now they're saying to you, look, I get this, but I need this, and you have to give me this at this particular time, then it makes it so that you kind of understand, look, they support you, but it's to an extent. It's on a condition that you provide something. It's on a condition that I get something out of this support. It's not just because I genuinely have a love for it. One time I noticed that this as well was when, once again, my event, like there was the people there, like you included, but there was people there like that I would never be able to thank enough, because they was really like just doing it for the sake of doing it. Even shout out to my sister behind the camera, or our camera woman, I'll just edit out whichever one she was, but shout out to her, because she like was really there, because you know, like she's a caring person, even though she like you know what I'm saying, yeah. So it's like she's very helpful with that, and with certain things as well, like prioritizing shit that I needed done over having like certain people just there for the sake of being there because they know people that are there, and then they're stepping on toes and they don't actually believe in the vision and what it's got going on there. Because it's bigger than just an event. It's more so about what we're trying to create here. Like as I said to the artists, like in the little off-room area, it's not about just what you do here. It's about what you do outside of it. Like I'm trying to get people to collaborate. I'm trying to get people to network. And like a lot of people didn't take that to heed. The only person that I think took that is you. Because like I'm saying to people all now, like, look, yeah, like it's bigger than what we've got going on here. It's bigger than just me performing. It's bigger than just you performing. It's bigger than whoever we've got here.
No, 100%.
Bigger than that.
It's always what comes from it. Always what comes from it.
Exactly. Because even going back to the thing that I said about like people being genuine with support and stuff like that, it's like I want to do this. And you're like, okay, cool. I want to do this. All right, fine, whatever. But then you tell somebody else you want to do something, and they're like, oh, how are you going to do this? What are you going to do with here? 100%. How's this going to happen? What are we going to do to make this happen? 100%. Or what can I do to help? Sometimes you just being there is more than enough to help, or just making me think about certain things, or showing me, or saying, oh, how are you going to do this? How are you going to do this? Because there's somebody that like, that I don't really speak too much now, but at the time, like I skipped over the event a lot. Shout out to them. They know who they are, but they're like, I skipped over this particular venue, the one that you ended up using for the event. But as soon as I went there, I'm like, this is it. So it's like just and they were showing genuine support. So it's just like, just basic things like me asking you, oh, can you just spend 5 minutes to just look on this website to see what this venue's saying, and then you come back with a list of genuinely does support me and see me going somewhere with it.
Yeah. It's more of like a developmental conversation. When it doesn't, stop when you stop talking, is when you can definitely see like who cares, who actually cares, and maybe even sometimes why some people care. Because sometimes people care because they like where you're going. They see it going somewhere far. They see the great things it can become. Sometimes people support you because they support you as a person. They know that you're a very caring person. They know you're a kind person, so they want to just support what you do. Sometimes people, they just like the genre of thing that you do. Like, for example, you as an artist, some people just fuck with music so heavy that they'll support any and all music, yours included. So they'll try their best to do that. And it may not sound like or seem like the reasons why people care. It may not come across as something that actually matters, but why someone cares really does matter. And it's important for you as an individual to understand why someone cares. Because it allows you to, say, like, distribute the weight sometimes evenly. Because it's a very heavy burden to carry to pursue something. So sometimes you have to distribute the weight, and knowing why someone is there for you, more importantly, knowing that they are there for you, but why they're there for you as well helps you, do that accordingly. And then doing that, you also build your relationship with that person as well.
100%. I feel like as well, like one thing I told you this to the moon, like one thing that you did as well was very helpful, just give counsel. Like when I asked you bare stuff, you'd be like, okay, this does this, but it's not like you saying, oh, is this a good idea? Yes, no, blah, 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 blah. You gave me reasons for why this could be seen in this way, or why this would be like even for the drinks, for instance, like me, because I was kind of iffy about how I would be doing it and what I'd be doing, but you was like, it gives this type of idea, it gives this type of vibe, it gives this, and you explained it rather than just saying, oh, it's a good idea or it's not a good idea, you feel me? Because then you was like, okay, you actually care about it, and you feel like it's not just a thing where you're just doing it for the sake because I'm your homie. You get me? Like, you're actually doing it for the love.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah,
you respect me to the point where you can tell me, raw, okay, I like this thing you're doing, I like this thing you're doing, da 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 da. Like, you respect me as an artist and individual, and enough to the point where you can be like, yo, I really mess with you to tell you that I'm gonna give you this extra time to tell me what it is and how it can be better. Because a minute or 3 minutes of texting can change somebody's life.
But yeah, it can change a lot. It does a lot. And I feel like those are the only conversations worth having. Like, I wouldn't talk to you in a way that I wouldn't want you to talk to me, if that makes sense. Yeah. It sounds like obvious advice, but I wouldn't want to have a meaningless conversation with you or give you a meaningless response. For then you to go and do something that could potentially not be as meaningful as it should have been. I always want to contribute to the betterment of something, not only because you're my guy, but also because you're doing something that you're passionate about. You're pursuing something. You're actually chasing something, which is, like I was talking about, the reasons why people care. That's the reason why I'd say, me personally, I care about, your art, other friends' art, things that people chase. I care that they are chasing it, which is why I always help them and help you, get towards that. Because if I see that you're trying, then that's more than enough for me personally to want to support you as much as I can. Because why not, bro? Like, it's not costing me anything to help you any way I can, especially if it is just a message. And then anything after that is just bonus points.
From my perspective of doing the event in general, was that it made me want to do more and more and more and keep on going. Because that's one thing I've always had when performing. Even if I've had a good or bad performance, I'm if I have a bad performance, I'm I need to go on stage and do it again, bro. If I have a good performance, I'm I want that feeling again. So I think as I very fell in love with the idea of not just the end result, but the beginning and the middle. Because when I started doing music, I was just okay, whatever. But then I didn't really fall in love with the craft until 2-3 years in. I'm
I feel like that's another thing as well. That's another thing to talk about. Sometimes you have to just start doing the thing, and then eventually you'll really find why you're doing the thing and a reason to carry on doing it, or a reason to do it way better or way harder, or actually put more effort into it. But you have to kind of just start it on a whim to begin with, which is mad. But it's true, though.
No, it's true. It's a little bit like how you find a good relationship.
Yeah. You just have to try. You literally just have to see how it goes, see where it goes. Obviously, you have your little signs to begin with, but mainly what you're going off of is just hope. Vibes. Yeah, literally a lot of vibes and a lot of hope.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it just hits you sometimes when you're not looking. As well, me right now, I've been in a bit of a state where I've been raw, what am I gonna do? I mean, I top what I've been doing so far. And what can I do to get better and show that I'm better and be better? What have I been doing to do that? That's what I've been thinking. And it's got to the point now where I was sitting on releases for 4 or 5 months. I'm aye. No, I deeped it. Because that's why I'm releasing. Well, it'll be out by the time this comes out. But I just released a song like that because it was just well, no problem or nothing. Because I just got a bit tired of blood. Some of these ducks are looking a bit tasty right now. Yeah.
Pass me the hoisin sauce, fam. Hoisin sauce, yo, that's actually one of the best sauces to exist.
Brother,
hoisin sauce, boss, bro.
That and sweet and sour.
Yeah, and sweet and sour, of course, good there, forever good.
Yeah, I was even to myself, I really want to pursue this further because of what it will give me. But then, bruv, I don't even care about that shit now, bro. I'm just bruv, I love doing it.
Literally, you just end up enjoying it, which is often why I treat creativity almost as if it were a healthy like romantic relationship, because I feel like the emotions, well, you start both off of the same emotions. Like you carry on both off of the same emotions. Yeah. Obviously, love is like the foundation of it all. Yeah. And I feel like only good things come from both scenarios. Yeah. But then there's also other factors that contribute to a good relationship. Yeah. That contribute to, I'd say, like authentic creativity. I wouldn't necessarily say good, because it's all relative. Exactly. But authentic creativity, like even loss plays a part as an example, like in whatever you do, and things like time and companionship and actual bonding and conversations, even talking to yourself does a lot for what you put out, the same way you talk to a partner. And a lot of things like that. So I feel like I feel like everyone should, but I just can only speak for myself personally. I treat my creativity a lot like a healthy relationship. Yeah. Because
a healthy one. Yeah. A healthy one.
That's for sure, because it's one I'm stuck for life, and the outcome is only based on my decisions. Yeah. Whereas obviously in actual relationship with a person, it's based on both of you. Yeah. But
yeah, because I feel like as well, like one thing that is really kind of overlooked and not kind of understood is when, you know, you might meet a creative person, they're really into what they do, like into what they do. But then because they're really into what they do and they're proud of it, you might see that person as a bit of an egotistical person, or a bit narcissistic. But that's because like you put so much time and effort into one thing, and this is only going for like the people that really truly love what they're doing.
No, 100%. It's always like, it's a very like thin line, because I've met a lot of people who are over that line. I've met a lot of like egotists. I don't know why it's you artists as well. It's always like you artists that make music that tend to be like very cocky and arrogant, but I feel like it's because a lot of people see the artists that they idolize and they see that they are at that stage, but they don't realize that it's
what it takes to get there.
Yeah, exactly. They don't realize that it's a process. Yeah. It's like you have to get to the point where you can be so cocky and arrogant. Even then, it's not for everyone. Some people just look like idiots. Exactly. Some people, it's entertaining, it's funny, and it adds to their music, and you see it in their music. But it is a very thin line between believing in yourself or having high self-belief and then having arrogance. There's like a very little grey area like between the... Like a little no man's land. Yeah, exactly.
As well, like, that's one thing to even speak on, bro. Like, me, one of the reasons why I don't have a lot of collabs out is because I just don't like dealing with artists. Because there's an ego thing that comes into play with it. Like, bro, it's so first of all, you say to somebody, raw, like, oh, do you want to jump on this track? Now, because you've asked them, it's a thing about, oh, this, and then you don't want to keep on asking them, because then one, you don't want to seem like it's a beg thing, but two, like, it's just like the type of ways that artists move when it comes to interacting with each other is ridiculous in my opinion. Like, I've met some artists here, I'm like, fuck me, bro, like like, you talk here, bro, like, I don't know if you've had this personally, but for me as an artist, I've had certain people come up to me and say things like, oh, like, you know, this is hard. I'm like, all right, I appreciate it, cool, like, I appreciate the support and stuff like that. But it's when they come and say to me, oh, like, I'm like, oh, okay, let's work on something, right? And then I've had somebody ask me to send them a beat pack years ago. Years ago, they was like to me, oh, could you send me a beat pack? I'm like, I don't make beat packs, but cool, I'll send you one. Then a couple months later, that nigga turned around and was like to me, oh, he was saying it as a joke, but April's he's feeling away because he didn't get on my mixtape. I'm like, bro,
I get where you're coming from.
You asked me to send you things. Like, if it's a thing, if I send somebody something, and because I don't do it often, but if I send it out, then I'm like, all right, cool, I give you some time to respond to it. I might bring it up 1 or 2 times, but then I won't ask you again. Cool. fine, but don't make it seem like it's a thing where I've come to you now and I've come to basically ask you to save my career. Like, no.
Yeah, they make it like very one-sided.
Exactly.
A lot of ego involved.
That's what I'm saying. Like, people don't often think about, or I'm saying people, but artists don't necessarily often come to each other like, oh, let's work together just for the sake of working. It's always what I can get out of it. It's always, oh, you've got numbers, can I do this? You've got this, can I do this? You've got this, can I do that? Because, like, even with certain things to do with the event, people that weren't on the event were saying something to me. I was like, when I was initially getting to talking to them, I was like, right, okay, this is the type of person you are.
Yeah, no, I definitely do understand that. Yeah. I try and stop, like, not to cut you off, by the way, but I try and, I feel like that's even partially the reason why LACUNA even exists, because I try and stop that with every opportunity I get. Yeah. Like, I'll never let, like, another artist, well, within my control, I'll never let, let's say, like, another artist I know or someone that I've worked with speak like that to you. If I'm working with you, I always create a lane for you both to exist in within, like, my confines, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like, 400, like, you and 400 and your relationship with LACUNA and myself will never, like, be in a position of, like, fragility or anything like that. You'll both have lanes to exist in within both from LACUNA. Like, you'll both have your space to do your own thing and thrive yourself and work for yourself, essentially. I like when the people around me or the people I collaborate with do something for themselves, because, like, everyone that I do work with or do things with, like, you're doing a lot for me just by being there. Yeah. And that's, like, enough for me as a person, personally. Yeah. But then I'll have, like, you know, creative directors or models or artists or event organizers, all these different people. I'm able to bring them into a space where you kind of have to have no ego. You can't necessarily be big-headed about anything, because this is not anything that you're used to. Like, you're not in a lane that you could be specialized in or anything like that, because I haven't put you in that position. Yeah. Like, I'll have artist model. And, like, you might like to be in front of a camera, but you haven't modeled for a brand before. You don't, this is not something that you do very often. Yeah. So now you're at a level where you have to learn. Or I'll find someone that models and put them in charge of, like, creative directing. Yeah. And, like, you're now in a different position. Or get a videographer and put them in charge of photos, or a photographer and put them in charge of videos and things like that. I like to do that a lot, because I hate the whole ego thing. There's a lot of ego in a lot of things creatively, and I don't necessarily blame people, because if you make something from, like, based on yourself and people mess with it, then technically people mess with you. So you're gassed now that 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 people mess with you. So it gives you that, like, big-headedness. It's like being a popular kid in school. Exactly. But, you know, I hate that shit.
Me too, fam. Because it's, bruv, me too. Because it's fleeting as well. Exactly. Like, the response that you get back from a lot of these things is fleeting. Like, if you hadn't done it, these people wouldn't care. So thinking that these people care now that you had done it.
Exactly.
And as well, like, I've even, like, I think one thing that I had to do myself is I had to have a little bit of that ego death myself before I did the event. Because, boy, some of these conversations that I had, I was just thinking, like, what the fuck am I here? Like, like, I was thinking to myself, like, raw, like, I don't even be bothering, like, you know, accepting certain things. But as well, because I thought, because it's my thing now, I'm running it. Yeah, okay, what I say goes, which is true. But you can't talk to people like that. You can't say, raw, like, okay, you're on my thing now. This is what you do, da-da-da-da-da. You have to explain why. And once you explain to people, they're more willing to actually help you. 100%. Like, which is what a lot of artists, I feel like, they don't actually explain things straight up. They just want to be funny about certain things. Like, it's, they'll just never respond. Yeah, I think it's just having to kill that ego in myself and be like, raw, like, I ain't shit.
No, 100%. You have to think like that. I feel like at all times, as much as you can, obviously give yourself your flowers when your flowers are due. and smell the roses, but never think you're the shit, bro. Like a phrase I like a lot is like, don't go flexing at the party. Like, just never ever think you're that guy. Would never ever think you're that woman, that person ever. Because you could be cool today and corny tomorrow. Like,
it's how I like to phrase it, like, if you keep feeding the same shit in, you're gonna just get the same shit out.
Literally.
Like, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, although it might work one time, the fact that you keep on just doing the same thing over and over again, it's like copying a copy.
Yeah.
Like, eventually that copy's gonna look fucking awful. Like,
Exactly, 100%, exactly.
and then you're looking in the mirror later and be like, oh, where did I go wrong? Well, instead of creating, you're copying shit that's being copied and copied and copied.
Yeah.
So I think it's very more so about actually being to constantly be to yourself, you know what? This goes back to what you were saying before about the self-reflection. It's really just being open with yourself and being like, okay, how can I improve this? Where can I try new things? Where can I do new things? Where can I do whatever? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just about that. I feel as well, even from a perspective of, because I do some design stuff in the background, but like I do some design stuff as well, and even being like to myself, okay, why does this suck? Like, why is this shit? Like, you know, what can I do better?
You really need to be able to like look at your shit like it's shit. Exactly. Like, you can't think that everything or anything that you do is like amazing or like no room for improvement or anything like that. Like,
exactly, because what I say to a lot of artists as well is, when I've talked to them about music in general, I'm just like, look, because of what I do, because I handle pretty much all of it, like the engineering, the mixing, mastering. That's why my engineering was shit for 3 years. But like the making the beats and whatnot, like I do that myself, innit? So obviously now, if I'm having to do it myself, then I'm able to listen to it and be like, okay, where am I going wrong? But I don't listen to it and be like, oh, what's going right? I listen, okay, why haven't I got that feeling of completion? Pause. But why haven't I got that feeling of like it's done yet?
Yeah, of like it doesn't feel whole.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Like what am I missing from it? So I feel like it's then just going back to the whole thing of just, you know, just keep doing and saying what you're saying and doing what you're doing, and doing more and doing new things. If you're constantly looking for the same feeling over and over again, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't think no artist should make an album that sounds the same as their last album, personally.
Nah, literally, you know, because you will be cooked.
Exactly.
And you will, your career or whatever you're trying to pursue will tank. It will tank inevitably, as we've seen with a lot of artists.
We're going to blur that one out. I mean, the man does love his guitars and his trap drums though, but...
Literally. But then you see when people are rewarded for innovation, and you're kind of, like what I was saying before, you almost get the best gratification from hate. Like, if people dislike it, if people dislike it, then you're doing something right. Exactly. Because if you do something innovative, or let's say that you had a formula that was working and that was good and that people mess with, you do something completely different because, you know, you're an innovator, you're a perfectionist, you like to try new things. You always see a room for improvement. And then when you do the new thing, people are like, oh, that's shit. What the fuck is he doing? Why would he do that? That is a good sign. That is a very fucking good sign. Because it may take a day, a week, a month, a year. People will find it and they'll see it and they'll love it. It will be mind-blowing for certain people that you were able to go from this to that, or that you were able to go into a new sound and perfect it so well, or that you're so versatile and different kinds of things. Obviously, talking in regards to music.
But that can be regarded for fashion as well.
Yeah, no, for sure, 100%. Yeah, like the JW Anderson or the Prada, they do this amazing collection that's in their usual style, like their unique style. That's amazing. And then they transition into something that's completely different and innovative. Like, I'd say a good recent example of someone that kind of...
Other than LACUNA.
Other than LACUNA, that kind of jumped the gun with what I would believe would be Pharrell. Okay. I feel like his ability every time to kind of do something slightly new is insane, and I feel like a lot of people dislike it, but I think that that's wavy. That a lot of people dislike it. Like, just before him working with Louis Vuitton, he did the collab with Moncler, which is like, who would see that coming? And the items that he did for Moncler were very unusual. He gets to Louis Vuitton and he does more unusual shit that is completely different from the Moncler collab, completely different from BBC. But yeah, no, he then does things that were completely different from his history, like BBC, like ice cream, like like his stuff with Nigo and Bape. It's always different every time, and it's always difficult for people to necessarily catch on it, or it never really is something that people really catch onto or call trendy. But I feel like that's the best part of it, because it's so different. People can't do that. Exactly. If that makes sense.
I feel like a good example of that as well in the music world is, I've not gone too deep into their discography, but one example is Bjork. Like, I don't know why, but Bjork, bro, fam, you know, the way I discovered Bjork here was mad as well. I'm not gonna really say how that happened there, but there was it was from somebody that I knew in it. And
I really wasn't expecting you to say Bjork, I can't lie. Bro. That is such a random pool, like.
No, but it's a pool, but like, it's a random pool, but it's a pool.
100%,
like,
100%.
Like, you're telling me, fam, from when I was hearing some, like, what was the album? I think it was Vespertine. Whichever one was the one with the black and grey cover, yeah. I was like, raw, like, you know when you hear just people, like, appreciate something, you're like, okay, cool. But then you listen to it and you're like, I get it now. Because, bro, like, as soon as I was listening to Bjork, I sampled like 3 songs from hers, and when I was making beats, that those are never coming out. But yeah, maybe, you know, we never know. But like, I sampled them, I started sampling Bjork straight up, I'm like, raw. And it's like, you can hear somebody that truly appreciates what they're doing. Like, because this person that showed me Bjork, I'm like, does Bjork produce her own stuff? Because I could, and I never knew this, innit? But I asked in it because I can hear it, because it's like,
you can hear a certain consistency.
Yeah, like, because I never knew nothing about Bjork before that. I'd heard of her, but I never heard anything like thingy in it. Yeah. I like knew that certain artists appreciated Bjork, but that's about it. But then they showed me Bjork, and then I was like, okay, it sounds like she produces her own thing, because there's a way that certain things sound, when it's self-produced. It doesn't sound as clear cut as a lot of things do when somebody else produces it.
I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree. From like listening to like a lot of new upcoming artists, when they go from like that stage of, you know, low key to somewhat established, you see like the big jump and like, wow, like it sounds bad, but it's like, oh wow, everything sounds so like clean. Like everything sounds so polished and refined. It's like, I miss when it was all like rough or janky, or that there were certain things missing.
Yeah, as well, especially like, it's because like, it's just, you have to really understand it to like know what somebody that's self-produced sounds like. Like Cash Cobain, you know that nigga produces and shit. But definitely. Travis, you can tell when he produces his own stuff as well. Like, you can really tell when somebody actually has that knack for it and that love of it, inside of just, oh, you know what, I'm just gonna make my own beat because it's free. Like,
like they're not making it for the benefit of it. They're making it because it's like the authentic way to do it. Like, they make it because they have something they want to translate. And they're the best at doing it. Like, instead of trying to describe the idea to someone else, because then when you describe an idea to someone else, involuntarily they mix it with their own idea, and that's like their own interpretation of it, and then it isn't necessarily how you planned it out to be.
No, true say as well. I feel like as well, you've definitely dealt with this as well with me specifically, because I don't, not that, but in terms of what I'm about to say. Like, me, when it comes to communicating my ideas, I'm fucking terrible at it. I'm bad at it.
But I feel like it's just what happens when you have like a very layered idea. If it's, you know, it's simple, if it's easier to tell someone else exactly what you're going for. Like, I could tell you, oh yeah, no, I want to like make some, you know, puffer jackets. You ask me what kind of puffer jackets. I'm like, yeah, just, you know, your typical like North Face puffer jacket. That's an easy way to describe it. But if I really wanted to make something like that, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I'd just be like, I'll show you when I make it. I'll show you when I make it. Yeah.
Like, it's when I'm sending beats or not even sending beats, but when people ask me what type of music I make, I'm like, bro,
just music. Like,
music. I don't really know what to say to you. Like, I just make shit, and then I see how I feel. It's not a genre. It's how I feel.
Yeah, no, definitely, yeah.
And I found it very hard, like, explain to people. They're like, oh, what type of music do you make? I'm like, I'll show you, innit?
Yeah.
Because I just don't understand how to really portray what I'm doing other than just how it makes me feel.
Yeah.
And that's just going back, way back, just deep pull back to an hour ago where he's talking about how things make you feel. Like, it's a lot about just what you do within it and what is pulling you to do it rather than what you're doing per se.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it's very interesting. I mean, I feel like before we go, I just want to ask you what you've got coming up, and I'll just say what I've got coming up because, you know, free plugs and that.
Yeah,
but we don't want to hear no, oh yeah, I'm just dropping a collection. No, you need to know what specifically is coming up for you within the next couple months, maybe.
So in terms of creative direction, that music video for Poet will be coming out within the next couple months for sure. Before the year ends, the music video will be out. In regards to LACUNA, hopefully the next event will be in December, like mid to late December, and then I probably won't release another item until 2025.
Okay.
I like to take my time, and I've really been like enjoying taking my time with my actual designs, putting a lot more intention in them. So yeah, that's the plans for both, to be honest.
Decent. Well, me personally, what I've got coming up is Nightstand's gonna already be out by now. So music video, if I've not announced it, for Jade coming soon as well, and probably
Is it? Jeez.
No problem. Yeah. So once again, people, thank you for watching. It has been myself, Kaye, April, and Omarion. As per usual, we will see you in wherever our respective fields is. Our Instagrams we're just gonna put it up on here because, you know, spelling. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, Pola. It's been lovely, and yeah.